Hi friends, I'm Megan from Forge Soap Co. and today we are testing and unboxing 6 of the cheapest bars I purchased on Etsy. Just a disclaimer before you watch this video, these are my opinions and only my opinions. I am omitting the name of businesses to keep the innocent protected. As you can see, I have a stack of boxes and packages. I will be opening each one in front of the camera. I have not seen these yet. I do not know what to expect. So you and I will be experiencing this together. Now, a few parameters that each shop needed to follow to fit my criteria are they needed to be in business at least 1 year, made through cold process or hot process, handmade, made in the USA, and scented with lavender. I will be starting with this one here. I want to look at each individual packaging and see if that plays into the price of each bar of soap. This person uses a flat rate envelope. I personally do not use these, but I do understand from a business perspective how this would make sense for someone. We have some tissue paper with gold hearts. Inside, we have one of these mesh bags. I'm also not a huge fan of these because these most of the time just end up in the garbage and they're not biodegradable or compostable. They don't break down because they're made from plastics. But again, people have to make their own choices based on what's best for their business. I do like that this one has a little sticker that says, "Yay, I made it all the way from California." That's where I'm also from, so hasn't traveled that far. I also like that this maker provided a little freebie of a scrub, is Sugar Lip Scrub Birthday Cake. And let's open this bar of soap. This is what the packaging looks like. If I had to guess, this bar was most likely scented with fragrance oils, not actual lavender essential oil. Clearly it was made using micas or pigments. It's a rough bar soap. It looks like it's been tossed around. That's also why I don't like using those types of flat mailers. They seem to get beat up. The corners get dinged in. But again, this bar was only $3. We will test the lather. The scent smells like floral, but it's that artificial floral scent. Next up, we have this flat bubble mailer right here. This bar of soap did not come with an invoice, which is fine. I don't mind that to save paper and whatnot. This soap was wrapped in paper. It has tape on it. I do notice that somebody's hair got trapped in the wrapping. Not a particularly appetizing sort of situation. So I'm not sure what to think about that, but definitely if you're putting your products out there, please make sure that when you're wrapping them up, you don't have people hair, cat hair, dog hair, whatever kind of hair is in your home. I understand most people don't have studios for their soap making, but it is important to follow good manufacturing practices, which means that you are pulling your hair back when you are making products that you sell to the public. This one has been wrapped in paper for a long time. You can tell it's had heat fluctuations and cold fluctuations because it has sweat into the paper, which is a thing that happens with soaps. If they get too hot or too cold, they will sweat. This is another bar that uses micas, or I'm guessing it's micas and not pigments, and artificial fragrance oil. I don't really smell lavender. It just has that sort of generic floral scent. This is another one that's been beat up a little bit. Next up, we have this cute little mailer. This one did come with an invoice, and at least I cut off the price, so that's super helpful. This bar was $5.50 plus $5.86 for shipping. So it's kind of funny when you pay more for shipping than you do for the actual bar of soap. This one didn't have any other freebies in it. It was just one bar of soap. It's wrapped in white tissue paper, has the little thank you stickers. This one has 2 stickers on it, which I'm going to keep covered up so that the business name is protected. This was wrapped in shrink wrap as well. It was colored with titanium dioxide and it has a faint lavender smell, so it might have some essential oil in it. It's also pretty beat up. It does look like they beveled the edges. It does have a lot of air pockets, which I find to be interesting. But it's a pretty swirl. I don't know that I would pair these colors together for a lavender bar, but gives me Halloween vibes more than anything. But I see what they were going for. It's not bad. Sounds not bad. And we will try it out in a little bit. Here we have one of the only companies I ordered from that used eco-enclosed packaging. I prefer eco-enclosed. They do a lot of compostable, biodegradable, recycled content. That made me really happy. Love seeing eco-enclosed. She did write a handwritten note. I always like when companies do that. I always write a handwritten note, so it's nice to see somebody doing that. I did buy all of these anonymously through guest accounts in Etsy. And this one's made in San Francisco, so not too far from where I live. This is actually a really pretty bar. Again, it has the sort of artificial floral scent, but they did a great job on their colors. I really like the swirling. It's a really smooth bar, very pretty, hard bar too. We'll see how it lathers. They also provided a little sample, which is always fun. Even if you only pay a couple of bucks for bar soap, it's fun to get samples, because how do I know if I want to come back and buy some more from your shop? We do have a freebie and a handwritten note. This one was shipped in a box, so we'll see what's going on here. It's just an empty brown box. No invoice. Just sort of haphazardly wrap this, you know, what do you want when you're buying the cheapest bars on Etsy. I'm going to take the paper sleeve off of this one just to keep it anonymous. So this is one of the few bars I bought that I was fairly certain was made with essential oils. It definitely has that lavender essential oil. And this is one of the smaller bars I bought. This is a 4-ounce bar. Some cute swirling in there. The alkanet root is fun. It always sort of is an interesting color when it goes through saponification. It's a little beat up. The corners are a little dinged up, and that's to be expected when you just have a loose bar. So, but you know, like I said, if you wrap everything up nicely, keep it protected and store your soaps well, then it's not too much of an issue. And the last one I ordered comes in this giant box. It's nice that there is a note in here, so that's great. This one came from New York. Everything's wrapped really cute. Lots and lots and lots of shredding though. I don't know that 2 bars of soap need quite so much shredding. This is a thick bar soap. You can see that. And the name is stamped on there, so I'm sort of keeping that covered up. This one's interesting too. I thought that this was going to be an essential oil because this definitely has like hot process vibes to it. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. But the scent is, I'm not sure. And then there was also this little bar in here. Oh, that was nice. They put in a square bath bomb, which is great. I mean, I sell these, something similar. So, you know, not particularly useful to me, but somebody else would certainly enjoy that. That's a really awesome little freebie. Big box and a lot of paper. I mean, luckily I will reuse this in my packaging. It's all about reusing things that you can. That's a ton of paper shreddings. Out of all of these bars, only one business actually provided a soap informational card. I like these. I use these in my own business because not everybody knows that handmade soap requires a little bit of extra care. Next up, we will try the lather test. Here I have my big bowl of warm water, and I thought that we would do a little bit of a lather test on each of these bars. I did cut these bars into smaller sizes. If you don't know, that is one way to preserve the life of your bar, is to cut it into smaller pieces, because you don't necessarily need to have a giant bar when you're bathing. Some people like it, but this is something I tend to do, so I just cut these up. One note, when cutting these up, I could immediately tell the ones that use artificial lavender and the ones that use real lavender. I've been making lavender soap for almost 20 years and has a very distinct smell. The fragrance oils smell very different. So just be aware of that when you're purchasing soaps on Etsy. Make sure you're looking to see if they use fragrance oil or essential oil. It's just a personal preference. So I'm going to start with the first one I opened, which is this one right here. I'm gonna get my hands wet and see how we do with the lather. This one definitely uses a fragrance oil. That's very obvious, but it has a good lather. It's pretty foamy lather. A pretty strong scent too. Let's see how it feels after we rinse off. I mean, any handmade soap is gonna be better than store-bought soap for a myriad of reasons. But yeah, it gets clean, it works. My hands feel clean. They don't feel, you know, super stripped, that you find with store-bought bar soap. Next up, we have this one that definitely has a lot of colorants going on. Big bubble lather. The scent is much lighter, which I mean I personally prefer, but some people don't. It's got a nice white lather too because it's got that titanium dioxide in it. This is a nice lathering bar for certain. Next up we have this bar. Another very foamy, well, it's got a good lather though. I didn't have to work too hard at it, but definitely fragrance oil. It's like really strong. It almost smells like men's cologne. It's a thing that people like, so. Next up we have this bar, which was a hot process bar. It's interesting because their description said all natural, and obviously natural is not a regulated word and anybody can use it for anything. They did claim that they use organic oils and butters, but clearly this is also fragrance oil. It does not smell like lavender essential oil, and if somebody is using this thinking it's essential oil, they're being taken for a ride. You can see the lather on this one. Sometimes hot process can take a little bit to get the lather up, but it's there. It's not bad. Very foamy, very slick. It's got a fine lather, just like I would expect it to. Next up, we have this one. Also smells very fragrance oil-ish. And that's not to say that some of these companies aren't doing a combined. This one has a little bit of a tint of lavender to it, which, you know, sometimes when you use micas, that's not a big deal. It's actually a really smooth bar, so that's nice. It feels good in the hands. And lastly, the only one I'm positive about that uses lavender essential oil. I believe that this is the one made with tallow. So yeah, so it should have big fluffy bubbles. See the big bubbles? Big difference. And it's a nice and hard bar too. Yeah, look at all the bubbles with this one. It's great. So, final thoughts on buying cheap bars from Etsy. I say go for it. It all depends on what your preferences are as far as fragrance and ingredients, and most soap makers will have those listed on their Etsy site, which just goes to show you, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it won't work. A side note, if you are a maker that is selling your bars for $3, $4, and $5, unless you are trying to clearance out those bars, I would recommend raising your prices slightly. Your handwork is worth more than just a few dollars. I would also like to point out that one of the upsides of ordering from Etsy is that I received 3 different messages from 3 different sellers regarding these bars, each one saying thank you or checking in or letting me know when my items would ship, and you will not get that sort of service with a large online brand. So as always, I recommend shopping handmade whenever you can, either Etsy or through another platform. If you're not sure how to find good handmade soap in your area, try putting a call out on social media asking for recommendations. I guarantee somebody you know somewhere knows a soap maker. Thanks so much, friends, for hanging out with me. Make sure you keep checking back for more videos. One of our upcoming videos will be talking about these vintage soaps to see if after 30, 40, 50 years, they still work. See you next time.